Okay. All right, well, I'm back. Flossie assured me that third time is a charm, and I'm just really not I'm not great with technology, and I can't magically make the Wi-Fi better. So I've been watching videos from my van every evening. I can watch them in like 1080p, so I thought I'll have an awesome connection. Okay, hi, I can see people here now. And the other side of the building has even better connection, but I can't move there because my van is covered in snow and ice. So, okay, people are seeing me clearly. And Frank, oh yeah, okay. This is like so fed up. Oh, like, yeah. I tried to restart and then it was gone. So, yeah. Hello. So 8 years of van life today is very exciting. Actually not as exciting as I probably thought it would have been 8 years ago. But uh and this is just an arbitrary day I chose as my start to van life. It was the day I turned in my apartment keys, but I'd actually been living out of my van for about a month before. And I don't know if I've shown you guys my first van that was gifted to me, but maybe I can show you on the, let's see if you'll be able to see that. There. So that was my first van. And I named her Roxanne because the suspension was really bad. So it's rocky, very rocky. Yeah, so I lived in that van for a few months, and then the engine seized. It was really old. All the gaskets had gone, and I was not on top of checking the oil pressure or checking the oil levels. So, um, yeah, it turns out I ran the oil dry and the engine seized. So that was, yeah, it was a high top. It was really nice. I could stand inside my first van and the bed would have been like here. So I could like lay in bed and look out the side door. So it was really, really nice. So yeah, so I hope you guys are all doing well this evening or this morning or this afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I feel like the majority of people are in North America. So thank you for spending your Thursday night with me. It's really easy for me to be inside tonight because it is cold and snowy. Apparently it's only 0 degrees out, so it's much warmer than last night's -8. But there is a lot of snow. I have not moved my van for days. So I had to run the engine a bit today to charge up the battery for the heater, which I'm sitting right in front of. It's pumping slowly, or my hair would be waving. I don't know. So Frank gets another treat for restarting. I don't think he'll mind. So yes, you want another treat, bud? What's this? What's this, Frank? Come here. Join the party. There you go. He had a hard day. He spent 5 hours on a couch today. And then we went for a little walk. Has the tattoo healed? Oh, so I got a new tattoo 2 days ago. So no, it has not healed. It has not healed yet. It's just starting to scab over. So it's still quite tender. Oh, Frank misses you too, Flossie. As soon as the snow is not keeping us apart, we will be together. He deserves all the treats. You're right, he does. And I mentioned this is the first round, but I got him these for Christmas, kangaroo jerky, because he's an Australian cow dog, so I thought that'd be cute. But I don't think he cares. But yes, there is so much snow here. It's been snowing for like 3 weeks. And then raining and then freezing and then snowing. And so like the roads are like a sheet of ice with like clumps of pastry dough snow all over them and mountains in the middle of the road. So you can't make any left turns. You have to plan all your driving to go right into everywhere. So it's quite a scene. So I'm very glad that I decided to rent this office space for the month of January. I'm hoping to get ahead on editing and posting so that I can have some more off-grid time come spring. Oh, my voice keeps cutting out. Yeah. Hey, Brian, Off-Grid Backcountry Adventures. Nice to see you here, buddy. I hope you're doing okay. I hope your truck everything's good with that. So, yeah. Last winter in BC, I spent the first half of last winter in BC in the Kootenays, which is quite snowy. And so I would ski when I'm there, but it wasn't snowy enough to be good skiing. And then I left there and came here to Squamish, and it was cold, but it was a lot drier. When it snowed, it would just snow a little bit and then get kind of slushy. It wasn't too bad, but for the past few weeks, it's been piling up and piling up. And the mountain in the parking lot today, I went to get beer. I really like this one from Powell River Townsite Brewing. It's called Mystery Reef Hazy IPA, and it's got Flossie on the can. Diving. Flossie is one of my good friends. If you don't know them, they have a YouTube channel also. So this is the the mountain of snow in the parking lot, and that's like I mean, the angle makes it look taller, but this is like a building here, and the snow is above the building, so it's like over twice as tall as my van. So maybe when I get out of here, I will go park by the mountain. Would I go dive with Flossie? Steven wants to know. I'm not a great swimmer, and I don't like my nose going under the water because too many times as a child I breathed in through my nose underwater. So I just doggy paddle. Frank's a better swimmer than me, but with a mask, like a snorkel mask, I probably would do some diving or at least some surface swimming with like I have a float belt because I don't trust myself. So if you liked my snorkel face voice. Oh, any ideas about the InReach Mini? So I bought the normal InReach to through hike the Pacific Crest Trail, and like 3 days later they announced the Mini. So I haven't used it. If my InReach were to break, I would be willing to test out the Mini. It's pretty cumbersome on the normal one just for typing messages. It's like an old school cell phone. So I don't know if I'd want to make it even more cumbersome, because unless you have it Bluetoothing to a phone, it would be even slower. So okay, so sounds like I'm doing better than before for the most people, and everyone's in the cold. So oh, the Zoleo is a great device. Gives you weather to your phone. Oh, I've never heard of that. So maybe I have an external mic plugged in, so I don't know if I can make it any better. Ramblin' Rocketeer, what is my tattoo of? So I got a new tattoo a couple days ago. Very nice gift to receive. So I have a fox, and then these are all wild rose, and then here is a snail, and there's morels growing out of it, and then some ferns. So it's like all. And then someday after that heals, there'll be another piece here. So, but this was that was 6 hours of work. So I sat perfectly still. I did not peep. I did not ask for a break, and she worked very efficiently. So it's amazing that it was done in a day. I'm very stoked on it. Yeah, it's all black, light black. Like instead of using gray ink, she uses thinner black ink and puts it on lighter. And then there's just like some little highlights of white. So yeah. Oh yeah. Thanks. Yeah. I had been scheduled in for 2 days, one full day and then a half day, and then we did it all in a day. But if I'd been squirming or complaining of the pain, it definitely wouldn't have been done in a day. It was like exactly 6 hours of tattoo time. And I learned that because I hadn't got a real, like with a gun tattoo in like over a decade since I got the moon. The bit on here, like the moon is yeah, 10 or 11 years old. And so, and all my other tattoos are older except for the stick and pokes. And yeah, the gun is like really noisy, but I guess there's like guns now that are like basically silent. So that's really interesting. I didn't even know that was a thing. So it does suit me. Okay, thank you. Yes. I mean the snail is like I feel like most, not most, but like I feel like it would be a tattoo. It's hard to hold it this way, but anyways. The snail has like his little house on his back. It's so cute. So I really like snails. Okay, so do I have any garlic left over from my harvest and farm work? I do, and it's in uh, a closet in my parents' basement, along with some other garlic I had purchased, and I forgot to bring some with me when I left there. So it's all in their basement. So if you watch this, mom and dad, and you need garlic, help yourself. um, oh yeah, Flossie. Yeah, so Flossie gave me the ink and needles for the stick and poke that I did. How am I? I am doing better now that I'm actually live and that it's working a bit and that you're here with me. So that's nice. I was pretty stressed for a moment there. I really didn't want to let people down, and I was pretty excited about having this celebration. So yeah. Oh. Yeah, I did Vlogmas, so sitting 6 hours for a tattoo was a piece of cake. Honestly, yes, it was so much easier to sit in pain for 6 hours than Vlogmas because um, I just found myself getting really behind on sleep, and then once I was chronically sleep deprived, it was just downhill. So, yes, I won't sacrifice my sleep like that again. I also didn't get enough sleep on the PCT, but it was not as mentally taxing. So, yeah, with all that snow, I need to find a place to hike and ski. I do. And the issue is right now, I can't go down a single back road around here. I have no access. So I can't even ski from town, and none of the parking lots are plowed. Like, there's nowhere to even drive to park to do anything. So as soon as some of the lower roads open up, I can park and then hike into nice places to snow or ski. Is what I'm hoping. But yeah. Ooh. How much money would you tell a young person to save up for van life on their own? That is completely dependent on people's lifestyle and how little money they're willing to spend or able to spend, because I find often with spending money, it's not a matter of um, like spending less money isn't as easy as it can be made to seem. It can be really, really challenging to spend little money, and it's a skill that you get better at in time, spending less and less money, especially on food and comforts and clothes. Like my winter jacket, the zipper doesn't work. So I can't even close my main jacket, and the other jacket I have that does zipper is 10 or 11 years old. I've gained some weight, so it's pretty tight. I can't put layers under, so it's not warm enough. So um, a lot of people wouldn't be willing to just kind of deal with those things. So then that would create a need for more money. So it's really hard to like say what somebody else um, should budget. But when I started, I had the last of my money that was intended to go to rent stolen from me because I kept it in cash, and somebody broke into my apartment and took it. So I started van life with like maybe a few $100s, and the van was gifted. Uh, yeah. So I don't know. I think like $1,000 a month Canadian is a very reasonable amount to live off of, to like drive around a bit and like eat healthy food if you're like cooking on yourself and you're not like maybe you're not like buying a lot of new clothes or items or this or that, and you're not really going out anywhere. Change the brightness. Oh, I do not know how to do any of that. at all. I'm sorry. Oh, and now I'm unstable and connecting. And I'm back. This question here. What are you most looking forward to this year? Honestly, right now, just the snow being gone. I would just absolutely love for the snow to be gone and be able to drive and park. Because I could go drive around, but finding somewhere to park would be really difficult. Oh, what am I drinking? I've already mentioned it, but it's the Townsite Brewing Mystery Reef Hazy IPA. And they only sell it in the single cans here, so I just get one at a time. So I've also, because I get nervous, it's like sometimes good to have topics to fall back on. I asked my patrons what type of things they might be interested in me talking about. And Heidi asked about my drawings. And I don't really recall mentioning that I draw, but I do. So I thought I would show you some of my drawings. They're very simple. I use pencil crayon. Yeah. So these are not my oldest ones, not my newest ones. So this is a bird I drew. So it's like very simple, but even something like this would take me like 6 hours. Like I'm just very slow. Can you see your dog, please? There he is. Like trying to show my art. Like, no, we just want to see Frank. Like a tree. So yeah. But I like pencil crayon because, well, one, they're really affordable. And most people already have pencil crayons, like I did from school growing up. And I like the sound, like the scratchy sound they make on the paper. This one is like a wise owl. How often do I draw? Not often enough. Usually just like in the winter a bit, or if I'm end up drawing. So a lot of these drawings were drawn during really sad times when I was disconnected from nature. But so it's just a way to find myself back to like the feelings that were nice. So yeah, it's like a little bird family. So yeah, so show you guys a few more. They would make great stickers. I thought so. I've considered drawing some of my own stickers. It's just a matter of time. I just need to get my life to slow down a bit, and then I could maybe draw up some stickers, because yeah, I would like to have them for stickers. So artistic on paper and film. Oh, thank you. Oh, I see some people are getting bufferings, but I'm not buffering on my end. So if you're buffering right now, it could be your end. But also I can also just take all the blame in my end. It's not great, because I'm okay with that. An underwater type scene. So I just pulled out one of my books, but I have like a bigger one with older drawings, and then my aunt gave me like a mini book, so that hopefully to help me draw more if I was doing smaller drawings. So I have some smaller ones as well. I can show you another time. The bird in the tree. And I would really like someday to draw a bird for myself to get tattooed on my ribs. It's been a really long-term plan. So yeah, so those are some of my drawings there. Oh, this one is a little different, a little newer, more use of the white space. But yeah, so there's a little art show and tell, some of the things I've drawn over the years. Oh yeah, my intro page. I started this book December 2012. So before Vanlife. Yeah. Every time someone comments Frozen, start singing Let It Go. I've actually seen that movie once, and it was like 2 years ago. I was way after the should do a limited run on stickers. Maybe one per month. Gotta get them all. Yeah, sometimes there are limited Patreon. So yeah. Now you know. Maybe a calendar or even a book. I had lots of suggestions about a Frank calendar. So if that is something people are really super into, um, uh, could maybe be a 2023 Frank calendar, which yeah. Dana. Wait, there's a couple of those holographic stickers left. Yes. Wonder if I have one here. Yeah, so I can't buy just one sticker for myself, so I tend to buy 50, and then I can put some on limited run. So um yeah. And so another thing I have in my van that you would never see because it's not in the outside part, it's in a cupboard in a box, is I have this rabbit's foot from probably my second year of van life. And I found it in the wild. It was like naturally severed and dried. So it was just like this. I found it mushroom picking and I kept it, and it actually is extremely soft, very, very soft. I found this in northern BC, kind of outside Hazelton. So if you live in that area, you'll know the burn I was picking. But I don't know if you can see, but it's got like really, really sharp claws. So yeah, that's like, like some really random stuff I have in my van. I also have like sand and rocks and starfish and stuff. So my greyhounds would dig through the metal to find that. No, Frank is very good. He has no interest in that, even when I show it to him. So snowshoe hair, probably huge rabbit's foot. Yeah, it probably would have been a big rabbit. So one less foot. So I don't know um how, but in the same area there was baby rabbits, and unfortunately Frank got one of them. And I was very upset and I started crying and he wouldn't look me in the eye for the rest of the day. He felt really bad. He felt really bad and he never did anything like that again. Um, is Frank fully healed? I would say so. Yeah. I don't know why my lighting has gotten even worse, but um yeah, I would say Frank is fully healed. He has some hair still to grow back, especially on his butt, and I don't think it'll ever grow long enough to cover scars, but um he seems, yeah, all good, and the arthritis medication is doing really well. So most days he's a lot more spry than he has been any time in the past year. Frank, the people would like to give you a belly rub. Will you come here, please? Will you come here? Franklin, well, I will lure you. I will pay you for your services. Come here. He's gonna get a good treat for this. Come on. Come on. Come close. Oh, get that belly rub. Say hi. What's this? What's this? What's this? uh, yeah, so he's gonna enjoy his treat now. But he got a belly rub from everyone and a treat. I am vegan. Yes, I am mostly vegan. Okay, no, I'm vegan most of the time. I have not been perfect in the 4 years since I've been a vegan. I have eaten some things here and there, mostly unintentionally because it just happens. So, but yeah, I started. Yeah, I think 4 years ago I decided to give Veganuary a try, and by the end of the month I felt so good that it just, yeah, felt good in a lot of ways. So I just kept going with that. Which reminds me of another question or another topic that a couple patrons really wanted me to talk about, and that was my avocado dressing that has shown up in a couple episodes, and what's in it. And it's really, really simple to make. And I just make it in the bowl before I make the salad. So all I use is some sort of oil, usually olive oil or grapeseed oil or avocado oil. And then I use apple cider vinegar. And then you just mash in an avocado and like blend it all up, and then whatever spices you want. and it's different every time. So it's that simple. It's really good. And then I just toss in the greens. So yeah. So yeah, that's what that's my avocado dressing. I feel like people are expecting maybe like a recipe or like some big secret, but there's not. It's very, very simple. It's just oil, vinegar, avocado mashed, spices. I like to use the Trader Joe's umami blend. It's like a mushroom blend, is really nice. And I'm also a big fan of marjoram, ginger, and cumin. Maybe not all together, but those are some of my favorite spices. So yes, it would be a very good dressing on anything, or like a sauce in a sandwich or a dip. You just vary the consistency, more avocado, less oil, vinegar, or whatever. So yeah. So 2,920 likes for every day in the van, Steven says. Is that including leap years? Because I think I actually have so I really like numbered milestones and stuff, and I've written down some upcoming milestones of big van life milestones. So today is 8 years, and then on March 25th will be 3,000 days. Yeah. So heat the dressing up. And then May 6th will be 100 months. So do a portrait of Foresty Forest. No, I cannot draw people. I just draw those like abstract nature things. Okay, we got some people leaving to go to the fridge, so I guess the salad dressing is a good idea, but yes. And then so yeah, I feel like I haven't even had time to really reflect on like all the lessons or things I've learned or tips from 8 years of van life. It's very dark. I know. It's like I got this light, and I worry if I use it on the brightest, I'm going to run out of power. And I don't know why it's so dark in here. Oops. It just fell. Just fell back here. Because my main light is just as bright as it was when I started, I'm pretty sure. Let's see this. Maybe this will lighten it up. Plug in a power pack. It just is getting worse and worse and worse. And I remember the last time I streamed, it also got darker and darker and darker and darker. And I do have another light somewhere. Oh, and I have these flashlights. Okay, let's see. Okay, we have a flashlight. Oh, and Frank. He's very cat-like. I'm sorry, the connection couldn't handle Frank. I had such a good ab workout before. He's doing circles and jumping the ceiling. Oh, bud. Oh, you're so funny. I'm sorry for laughing at you. Okay, so I have one flashlight there, and when it starts to get dark again, I have another one, and I have this. So I'm learning how to stream. I will get better at this in time, even though it's a challenge. I will keep trying. I have no recollection of what I was talking about before I lit up the flashlight. He's finishing his dinner now. But yes, he's very cat-like in a lot of ways. And he will you know how like a cat will be like, "Oh yeah, pet me," and they're like, "Oh yeah, I love it, I love it, I love it," and then they're like, "Ah!" He does that, except like as a cat, it's acceptable, and as a dog, it's very much not an acceptable thing to do. So I yeah, I generally don't let too many people pet him. Also because he has arthritis, so he's pretty sore, and sometimes it just doesn't feel nice. I just don't think he likes being pet all the time. And then also when we did the Pacific Crest Trail, just too many people touched him. Way too many people touched him when he wasn't in the mood for it, and he's just started setting boundaries on that. So yeah, recovered from Frank's flashlight thing. Oh yeah. So CBD, I got some CBD treats for Frank recently, actually, and I had given him some in the past. He really likes them. I guess they've done a good job making them taste good, and yeah. So I don't like random pets either. Me neither. Honestly, if a random person just came up to me and touched me, or even people I knew touched me when I wasn't feeling good or when I was sleeping, I would not be very nice about it. So I don't really get why everyone thinks they can just walk up to any old dog and just touch them. So yeah. Oh, thank you, Rescue Dog Treats. Yeah, cat like Frank. He brought a lot of energy to the live stream. That's for sure. Yeah. And my first super chat, I decided to turn them on because why not? Um, yeah. So thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Oh, I think I can hear it raining outside. It is rain. I think it is raining outside. So my van has a sheet of ice. All right. How is the engine working? The engine's doing pretty good. I had to fire it up last night when it was like -8. And it didn't sound great, but once it warmed up, it was fine. And I have a lot more power. But I also haven't been driving much, so I'm not sure how my fuel economy is going. So it is finished. Thank you. Thank you for the blessings. It's very nice. So yeah. How was my New Year's? I didn't really do anything for New Year's. I went to bed early, but the night before, I stayed up late and I had a fire sitting out in the snow and drank quite a bit of wine, which we ran out of. So then we drank gin. Oh yeah. So I don't know where I was, but so then I drank gin. So yeah, wine then gin. Turns out you get pretty drunk at the end of the night. Too many people's pets invade my space. Well, Gail, Frank would never do that. Um, he has no interest in anybody else's space. And most of the time, he's not too interested in dogs either. But Frank, can you come closer? Come closer, Frank. Wine and gin makes the world spin. Oh, let's see what we can do. Let's get some more Frank in here. There you go, bud. I have the nicest viewers, no need to moderate, says. Oh, thank you. So I feel so grateful to have moderators. It helps me feel a lot more relaxed before this, but yeah, my 10K viewer live stream was chaos. I couldn't even read the chat. So, and Unpaved are friends from the Kootenays. Look at Frank. He's just staring at the light. Which is a lot better than him looking at the light because it is very bright. It is like 700 lumens. No, Frank has no idea how popular he is or how good looking he is. He's a seriously handsome dog. Oh, thank you, Stephen Porter. Thank you. Hello. Get some treats for Frank. Frank, before going away for Christmas, I spent more on Frank's treats than I did on my food for my week at the beach. He's such a spoiled dog. I do watch Chrome and Cruise from time to time, but usually if I'm somewhere where I have power and internet, I'm either editing and posting or like posting to other social media channels, or I watch more non-van life content. I watch a lot of like astrology and tarot stuff and ASMR and that kind of stuff. So yes, yeah, I don't watch a lot of van life. I like Isabel Page, and like tiny home stuff just because it's a little bit different than my day-to-day life. Oh, would you get a different or same breed of dog ever? I would probably get, if I ever had another dog, which at this point I don't feel like I'll ever have another dog after Frank, because Frank's so great. I feel like um, I could never love another dog as much, and they would just never be as good as Frank. But if I did, it would be a very similar breed. Danny Hustle. Frank could be a professional, handsome puppy. Yes, he could. And I have many brands reach out to us wanting to give me stuff to make posts to use him. And I say no, because he doesn't need all that stuff. Although I am going to get him a bow tie. I don't know if you saw the Christmas post, a little bow tie. I've wanted a bow tie for him for quite a while. So maybe we'll get some serious contracts once he has a bow tie, Danny, and then he will be a professional, good-looking dog. Oh, here has a technical question. How much time do you spend setting up the shots, driving past the camera? Do I have multiple cameras for that? Have I ever lost one? So this is where I get some of my exercise. It doesn't take too long. I just usually, my phone is almost always on its little tripod, and then I just put it on a taller tripod. So it's just a matter of setting the shot, starting the film, running to my van, driving by, parking, running back. So it just adds like maybe a couple minutes per shot, and I haven't lost anything, and I do have multiple cameras now. Tony Richno, hello, thank you. Thank you. I like that you have the yin yang sign. So can Carrie chat with your dog, please? So much for Frank. You get your own lighting, Frank. There. There. We have Frank lighting now. Is that yeah. Am I working in the winter? Oh wait, some of these are just going by too fast. So if I miss your question, I'm sorry, because I can't talk and read at the same time. Am I working in the winter? I'm working doing YouTube. Yeah. So did I specifically train Frank to put treats in his mouth and not eat them when I go in stores? No, I didn't. He's just he doesn't eat unless he's told he's allowed. And even when we're in the van, he'll be on the bed and he will have water in his bowl, and he will ask me to get out of bed to drink his water. And I'm like, of course you can, Frank. Of course you can go drink your water. So he's just a very polite boy. And when I rescued him, he was a really good treat taker. So I guess I'll talk a little bit about Frank's story. I want to put together a proper video, and I've been saying this for months, a proper video with old pictures of Frank, because I can make this into quite a long story. But I will tell the shorter, the abridged version of Frank's story now. So, yeah, I rescued Frank in the summer of 2013. I had never had a dog myself. He's my one and only dog, and I also didn't have dogs growing up. We had cats as a kid. So we never had family dogs, and I wasn't very comfortable with dogs. I was very scared of dogs for a long time, and that's something I will talk about another time. But I had started to meet some nice dogs that like kind of got me onto the idea that like I might like a dog in my life someday. And living in Squamish, there's tons of dogs. So I was living here. Lots of people have dogs, and people have really cool off leash, really active, like adventure dogs. And then I had been in a really, really bad relationship, and it left me injured, and I wasn't able to do a lot of the activities that I would normally do, which meant I also didn't have people to hang out with anymore, because the people I was hanging out with were doing these activities I couldn't do. So I decided that I wanted a dog in my life, and it had been something that had slowly been trickling into my mind for years. So I met this dog where I was working at the adventure center, and it was very similar to Frank, a little smaller, a little more pit bull. But I saw her and she was so sweet, and I knew that like that now was the time. So I went on petfinder.com, which is a database that searches like all the local SPCA groups and animal rescues. And I looked for cattle dog mixes, and there was 3 dogs available. the first one I wanted was in northern BC, and he was like the stockier version of the red heeler. And I didn't even get to meet him. I was put on a list, but he was adopted before it got to me. And then the second dog I was interested in, she was more of a more Aussie Shepherd in the mix, and like more what's the type, collie. And she had two different eyes and just like every different color and pattern fur. She was really cool looking, and I went to meet her up at Whistler, and then I stayed there for like an hour, and I just sat like quietly in the yard, and she wouldn't come near me, and they weren't going to let her go home with anyone unless she was like drawn to them. She was very timid. She'd had a very hard life. I don't think she even had a tail. So I wasn't like, they're like, nope, we're not considering you for her. Like, she's staying here until she finds the right home. And then Frank was the third of three choices. He was honestly, Frank, I'm sorry to say this, but you were my last choice. Um, because in his picture, he looked kind of mean, and he was really skinny. He's like 70 pounds now, but when I got him, he was like 30 or 35. So I borrowed somebody's car because I didn't have a vehicle. Borrowed somebody's car, drove down to the ferry, walked on the ferry to Nanaimo, got picked up by the girls that were fostering him, and went and met him. And he had been in foster care for 3 weeks. Yeah, third time's a charm, just like this live stream. So he'd been in foster care for 3 weeks, and they brought him up from a high kill shelter in California. And he was about a year old at the time, and nobody had wanted him. And as soon as I saw him, I fell in love. Like, I knew like he was my dog, and he was like, I was just mesmerized by him, and he played well with the other dogs at the foster care. And so I was like, okay, I'll take him. And they're like, thank you, thank you. Like, they were so happy I was taking him. It was like as if nobody else had wanted him. And when they'd rescue him, he was basically a skeleton, and he had an infected eye, so they'd been looking after that and had him neutered and got him all his shots and that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, he was on the mend, and they drove us back to the ferry. And then we went to walk on the ferry, and it's like metal grating, and he wouldn't walk on it. So I had to carry him. So I carried him onto the ferry. He spilt my coffee, gave me kisses, and we've just been inseparable to this day. And he still loves to spill my coffee at every opportunity. And the name Frank was given to him by the foster people, but for years before that, I had loved the name Frank, and I wanted to name something Frank, and I didn't want to name a plant Frank, and I had tons of fish, but I had decided not to name fish because it was too heartbreaking when they died, which they died too fast. And so he came with the name I wanted, which was amazing. Thank you, Sandra. Hello. Thank you. I like yeah, super. Like Frank. Frank is super. So yeah, so he came as Frank, and his old name, which I've never really shared online, I don't think, was Havoc. And it suited him. It really, really suited him. He was quite the handful. And he came to work with me. He was never left home alone. So he was always with me. He always came to work with me. I worked for an adventure company. So in our first week together, we went rock climbing, trail running, mountain bike, sea kayaking, horseback riding. Yeah, because I got to do all the tours I got to do for free, and so most of them let me bring Frank. So he had like a crash course in Squamish adventure lifestyle. It's not something I recommend. Probably very irresponsible as a dog owner to get a brand new to me dog, and I had no idea what I was doing. Like I said, I grew up without dogs. Never had dogs growing up. So, and now you know Frank is a very chill, calm, nice dog, unless there's a light to chase, which he's already tired of. But for the first like 5 years of his life, of our life together, till he was about 6, until I walked him from Canada to Mexico, he was a nut job. He was so much, so much. Like, I can't believe it. He just, yeah, he was very intense, and he was also a reactive dog. So it took full, like, 100% dedication to correct him and to kinda just I would keep him distracted. He had a toy I would make him carry, so when he would start to look at another dog, I'd be like, lure him with the toy and just always, yeah, always trying to get his attention on something positive instead of, like, fixating, so but yeah, I didn't know anything about training dogs, and so everyone had advice for me, and so I just listened to all their advice and did what worked with Frank, which was pretty firm, being pretty firm with him. Um, so yeah, he turned out fine now. Oh yeah, the hiking at the cabin, the Lizzie Lake cabin, the alpine above. I think that was my very first oldest video from like 4 years ago. So yeah. So he's a good boy now. Yeah. Unless you try to touch me. He will not tolerate that. Ah, Norsine, thank you. Hello. Thanks for supporting the channel. So, yes, yes, Laura, he did need guidance and direction with love. And I don't know how many homes he went through before or what he was subjected to, but he thought he was the boss of absolutely everything. And I had to show him he wasn't. And I had a male roommate at the time when I got him. So when the male roommate moved out, Frank tried to step up as leader of the house. So I had to like physically get on top of him a few times until he finally calmed down. But he's gotten into the garbage maybe once. He got on the countertop once. He ate a wooden bookmark once. He stole you stole a muffin once. I just remembered. Yeah. Early in van life, he stole a muffin that I had on the dash, and I was really hungry when I came to eat it and it was gone. And he felt really bad. And he never stole again. Like, even if I put out a bowl of food in the van and leave it in here with him and go out somewhere, he won't eat it till I come back. Or sometimes because he's upset, I've left him. He will flip it over. When we lived in the minivan, he would flip the food all over his bed if I left food on the bed to go into a cafe. So, uh, he has a lot of attitude. He's very communicative. So, yes. But I've always said that, if I ever have a second dog, well, when he was young, I told him he could have a friend, but we're not having a friend. So if I ever have a second dog, I will name them Stein, and I will only ever have 2 dogs if I have a second one. Did I ever manage a trail dog injury on the PCT? No, I managed to get Frank across the PCT without injury, which is what should be the goal. Unfortunately, most people do end up injuring their dogs or ending up having to take them to the vet, or they end up really skinny, or they end up without their dog coming home. Um, yes, Frankenstein. There you go. Shauna, you got it. Oh, well, hello to Hazel. In front of a wood stove. That would be very nice. I'm in front of the diesel heater right now. It is pretty warm in here. I feel pretty warm, but it's probably like 13 um or so degrees. So it's actually not super warm. I'm wearing a sweater, but tomorrow we'll go to Troy's and he has a wood stove and Frank loves going to Troy's laying on the like couch bench there. So I think he likes the wood stove heat a little more than the diesel heater heat. Hey, bud. Well, thank you, Karen. Yeah. My skin was really bad. It has improved greatly. I've just been putting so much care into it for the past 2 weeks. Just constantly salving it with fireweed salve that I made. So loved hearing Frank's story. Thank you. Thank you, Greg. Thank you. Yeah. There is more to the story. The story actually starts 4 years before I got him. But I want to make that into a video and I want to share cute pictures of Frank when he was young. I don't think I have any of them on my phone. I don't think I have any old pictures. Oh, asking how Troy's doing. Troy is well, but this channel is about me and Frank. So This isn't super old, but this is a photo I really like. Oh, I can't adjust the lighting on the screen. I don't know how to make it. Oh, you can, fail. But yeah, I took this photo of Frank at Black Rock Desert when we were leaving the US the last time we were down there, after all of this started and our visa ran up, so we had to come back to Canada. So, do you ever feel as though you may live in a house? What kind? Log home, traditional, castle? Um, I mean, a castle would be very cool, but cold and dusty, and I'm allergic to dust, but I'm okay with the cold, so wouldn't be that bad. But I would like to live in a hobbit hole. I would like to live underground with the garden in the front. Or a tiny home. I would probably live in a tiny home on a trailer that I could move. Which is kind of what this is when the weather gets bad and I don't drive for days. I'm pretty much just living in less amenity tiny home. Um, yeah. So, what's happening for me and Frank in the near future? We're gonna be in Squamish for a couple weeks. And then I'm gonna spend some time on the Gulf Islands. I'm gonna spend some time on the Sunshine Coast putting in a power system. So I have a meeting about that in a couple days. I'm gonna be working with a professional electrician who is the brother of a longtime friend. So that's gonna be awesome. We're gonna help each other out with that. And then I want to go explore like remote parts of northern Vancouver Island. I want to go do some off-grid, no phone service, back roading and stuff at some point. So I just a matter of waiting for the roads to open up and stuff like that. So they make hobbit homes. There is a hobbit home Airbnb in central BC that you can rent, and it is a major goal to be able to stay there. Um, I wanted to maybe stay there for my birthday, but I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not going to drive that far before then. So, um, yeah. Um, oh, it seems some people have asked about, yeah, about Troy. But yeah, if he wanted to share all about himself on the internet, he would already be doing that, and he doesn't. He doesn't really exist online. Like my channel is like the most he exists online anywhere. So yeah, but um, he's good for us. And that's what's important. So, what day is my birthday again? It's February 23rd. Yes, it's coming up soon. Um, and usually the time between the winter solstice and my birthday is like a really interesting period in my life every year where I go through like a lot of ups and downs and like a lot of like emotional cleansing and like a lot of shadow work, but then like a lot of like, because it's also going towards spring, like setting the stage for like all these amazing things to like sprout in spring and into through summer. So like last year I was mentally preparing to do YouTube. I wasn't on YouTube yet, but I had bought the tripod and I was like learning how to get comfortable like carrying my phone around on a little tripod, which was so awkward for me just to be on a trail and have my phone on a tripod and people be like maybe they're thinking I'm like a YouTuber or something, which I don't know why like there's such a stigma around it, but yeah, so I don't really know where I'm going this year. I think more balanced, and I would like to create more artful videos than I have thus far. So, oh, we have a Ruth Ann the day before me birthday. My grandma is the same day, and my grandpa's 2 days later. So, yeah. And Stephen would like to learn about mushroom foraging from me. I will share more about mushroom foraging when it's mushroom season in the spring. So there will definitely be um, more mushrooms on the channel. I love picking mushrooms, and even though those videos where I have mushrooms in the thumbnail usually do the worst, I'm just gonna keep sharing it because that's what brings me joy. So, have you ever thought about a mushroom recipe book? There are way better books out there than I could ever read. I am so basic with cooking. People do really fancy things with mushrooms. So, I'm trying to like, yeah, see a bit of these comments. It's like, yeah. Joy is kind of like Steve Wallace's beautiful wife. Yeah. Sure. Um, mushroom soup. Yeah, I like mushroom soup. I really like it fried. Like, almost all mushrooms are really good fried. Yeah. Cooked oh, Shelly cooked some mushrooms tonight. I have, not been cooking a ton. I did on my trip that I was just on, which you'll see about in a week or 2. Cooked a bunch outside in the snow, but yeah, it's just been snowing so much here. I've been eating like nothing or takeout. So I wish I told myself I wouldn't eat takeout this year, and then I'm eating takeout. Okay, Good and Green wants to know, where do I see myself in 2 years? Well, I'm still going to be living in a van because you better believe I'm going to get that 10-year badge. I am not quitting before that. I will be getting my 10-year van lifer badge. But I don't know. I'll be in BC somewhere. I don't know. I'm a BC girl. I've been here my whole life, and I don't want to live outside of Canada. And there's nowhere else in Canada I'd rather live. So I'll be in BC in my van doing what I've been doing all these years. But if my channel ever blows up and I just end up with money I don't need, um, I have a dream van in mind I'd like to build. I'd like to do a full restoration while not living in it on the shorter version of this van, but older, and make it a 4x4. That would be so much fun to take everything I've learned and build that. So it's not even tons of money, but it's more than I have. So yeah, that is like, if I was doing that in 2 years, that'd be really, really cool. Any plans to road trip down south soon? No, I don't have any plans to go south. Yeah, I've been driving so little. I just can't imagine spending that kind of money on gas. Especially when I have like jackets that the zippers don't work and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm just trying to be more responsible with the funds I have, and not put it into gas. So no plans to go down south anytime soon. Um, so mailing goodies to Frank. First of all, thank you for your compliment. Um, I don't want to receive treats for Frank in the mail because international borders and dog treats, as I learned doing the PCT, are it's just a pain. It's a hassle, and they get confiscated, which is really sad. So, Omaze or something just needs to sponsor you and give me a van. I don't want one of the new vans. I really like this van. I chose an old van on purpose, and I knew I was getting into a restoration when I chose this. How about a meetup? Yeah, I would totally do a meetup. It would be in BC somewhere, and I don't really know anything about planning that or yeah, any of that kind of stuff. So yeah, but I think Squamish is a good place. But I don't know how many people are around here that actually watch my channel. I did run into somebody on the island, Anna and Max, who knew me from YouTube, so that was cool. Um, and yeah, I will be back to the Kootenai. There is that, and yes. Um, but speaking of sponsorships, okay, first I'll answer this question. What are your main reasons for an oldie? I wanted to, because the way I was living, I was learning to do a lot of things for myself so that I could spend less money than having somebody else do them, so that I could work less, so that I could have more free time that I could then spend doing things for myself. It's like a feedback loop. And so 2 years after this, the engine became a lot more computerized and electronic and technical and things that I can't as easily do on my own. So I wanted an older van because it's simpler mechanics, to do myself and to be able to like learn the system. And then also like this current engine I have is really easy to get parts, and they're some of the cheapest parts out there. Like the way older ones can start to be harder to find, and the newer ones are all way more expensive. So economically, I could buy and do all the work I've done on this van 4 times for the price of buying a new van these days. And I don't even know if the new van would be built. So yeah, I know. If you get rid of your van, you'll save money. No, I won't. I absolutely won't. I've had like 10 vehicles in my life, and all of them combined, buying and repairing every vehicle I've ever owned for the past 20 years, I'm in for like 30,000 Canadian dollars. Like, I can't buy anything for that that's going to be better than what I've built. So, yes. That is where I stand on vehicles and new versus old. I very much enjoy being able to understand my van and being able to make things work myself. So, where I was going to say something about sponsors. I haven't worked with any sponsors on my channel. I've had a lot of companies approach me. I've had a lot of people want me to do reviews on products I've never heard of or would never consider buying, and I've said no to all of them. Oh yeah, there's Anna and Max. Hey guys. um, so until recently, so I actually had a company approach me wanting to partner with me on a multi-video sponsorship deal. Um, so I said yes. So in a couple weeks, I will actually have my first sponsored mention. It's like 45 seconds in a video. So hopefully that's not too much for people to handle, but um, I, I get a significantly better wage from it than AdSense. Um, and it's something that I really align with. So yes. And I've mentioned them that I would like to use their service. So it worked out very well. So there will be occasionally from time to time, maybe one, maybe two a month sponsored bits in my videos moving forward. So yes. Um I have a HEI ignition for 1954 Shadow who's asking, and a throttle body injector. So both my sons were born February 23rd, 6 years apart. That is so cool, Anita. So I'm sorry, this is very random. Me talking about things and then randomly answering to comments, but yes. Yes, thank you for the congratulations on the sponsorship. I would really like to not destroy my body farming. I love farming. Um, and I do piecework for the most part. Garlic was per hour, which I still worked very hard, and it was kind of nice to work per hour, but mostly I do per pound. And by the end of the season, I am in so much pain. It takes me like 2 months to recover. So I would love to always do some farm work and be able to do it a little more casually or more volunteer basis. So I would love if my YouTube channel could cover my basic cost of living and then help have like a small savings, because someday this thing will need a new transmission. Someday my computer will die, and I would like it to not be something that I then have to deal with and make up the funds. So usually I've just worked enough to get by, and when something came up that I wanted more money for, I would find a way to make more money. So yeah, and I've done all sorts of random jobs, some very, very random jobs. So um yeah. So ah Organic Basics as a sponsor I would consider, but I don't know if I would work with Jackery because I had like a similar style from Goal Zero I really didn't like, and then I'm gonna put in a power system, so I don't really know if I have space in my van to even have a Jackery if they wanted to pay me. So, but yeah. Um, oh, question. Let's see. Do I still get sponsor pay if folks fast forward through the ad bit? Yes. So if I am doing like an outside sponsor and I talk in the video, um, and I'm like talking about the sponsor and people skip, there's no way for anyone to track that. But um, if people engage with the sponsor, they will start paying me more. So that's just how it works. Yeah. And then for ads, even if people skip, I still get a little bit for it, but I think I get more on AdSense, like my CPM or whatever goes up if people actually watch the ads. So I know I do a lot of late night YouTube watching, and I've woken up in the middle of an hour-long advertisement before, and I'm like, good for you and your channel. I just fell asleep and watched an ad for an hour. Hopefully you got paid well. Yeah. Get sponsored by Balsamic Glaze. I would love that. I would love if they started making the garlic one again. So, oh yeah, Blue Yeti. They did reach out to me months ago, and I never responded. So, um, oh, who is the sponsor? I don't know if I should. I'll share. I've signed the contract, but it's Skillshare, so I'm really excited about it. And I've been taking courses when it's snowing. I've been sitting in the office, learning stuff. So it's so much fun. Yeah. Um, yeah. So, and I thought I would share one of the things that took me a really long time in van life to figure out. Um, I like to burn incense. Welcome to Amanda's random show. I like to burn incense, but like an incense stick is like a lot in a small space. So then I would just burn incense with the doors wide open. And then I learned that these exist. Maybe I showed you these on the last live stream, but they're incense matches. So you can just, it's just like, you just light the match. Just light the match. And then you get the nice match smell. But then the stick burns and it's incense and it's just like a little dose. So it's really, really nice. Um, yeah, so oh, you have a YouTube Premium. Yeah, I get cut from YouTube Premium from those. So will Frank be the Skillshare promo dog? We'll see if we get in their good books. Maybe. Maybe. Yeah. Wonder if there's anything Frank can learn on there. So oh, I just got these at like a metaphysics store, which is like the stores with like crystals and tarot cards and all that kind of stuff. I just found them. So yeah, it's very nice. It's like the perfect dose for a tiny space. Or I guess like you would like in a bathroom instead of like a chemical spray, if it's like a little smelly, that would be nice. So yeah. Yeah. I could teach on Skillshare. Seriously, if they asked, I would probably do it. I love teaching and I love gathering skills and I love like gaining skills and encouraging people to gain skills. So before I even started YouTube, they were somebody I knew I was going to be willing to work with if they approached me, and they approached me. So I'm very proud of myself for manifesting that. I don't have a link yet. Madeline, thank you. Hi. I love the name Madeline. I had a friend named Madeline as a kid, and it was my like alias name as a kid for a long time, Madeline White. So fancy, but yeah, it's a very nice name. Um, do my parents bug me to come live at home? No, they don't. They like when I'm there, but they don't bug me to come. They don't bug me to come live with them because they know that I spend as much time with them as is healthy for me. Not that they're unhealthy for me, but I need my alone time. And everyone who truly cares about me knows I really need my alone time and encourages my alone time. So, yes. um, which is why I'm not just living in Squamish all the time now to be with Troy. It's that I need my alone time, and he probably needs his alone time too, because that's what he did before I was around. Oh yeah, like how I have this co-working space. I don't leave anything in the space, but oh, okay, I'm back. So I was saying about this co-working space is I don't leave anything in there. I pay $270 a month Canadian. I have 24-hour access. There is sink, fridge, coffee, unlimited coffee, tea, bathrooms, power, Wi-Fi. So I charge everything. I use Wi-Fi. I'm on their Wi-Fi right now. And I am keeping the space through January, and then I will not, because I'll be hitting the road. So if there was something like this co-working space, but like a house where I could like be more officially parked in a driveway and like have a yard to hang out in and have a shower and like power and Wi-Fi, maybe like a month a year, I would rent a co-living space and sleep in my van, but like have use of a house would be really nice. Especially in the winter. Like right now, I would love to just be in someone's driveway for like a month and not have to drive and not worry about it and just get like a nice on foot routine. And yes, Karen, I am so glad I don't have to upload for hours. I can upload a video like in an hour. Whereas some videos when I was on the road, I would have to go like Wi-Fi to Wi-Fi. It would take like 10 hours to upload a video. So it's hard to like do anything interesting if you spend 10 hours uploading a video. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, editing on an iPad saves a lot of power. I like having separate, like I don't really like touch screen a lot. I don't know. Maybe I'm dating myself. Sometimes I feel old with technology. I don't really like working on a touch screen. Otherwise I could probably edit on my phone, but yeah. Mav did a YouTube on being I don't know who this Mav is. I might have to look into them. So yes, I hope everyone has had a nice new year. I hope that you're not stuck in a mountain of snow like I am. I think it's still raining. So the roads are going to be really bad by morning. Oh, Mav is wildly popular. I am out of the loop. Although I might have I feel like I might have mentioned this in the last live stream, but sometimes I watch PewDiePie, which when I told Foresty, he was like shocked. He's like, "You do what?" I don't know. He's just like the biggest YouTuber out there, so YouTube is gonna suggest it. And one day I watched and I was like, "Well, this is stupid, but kind of funny." So sometimes when I don't want to think, I just want to like space out and have a chuckle or like I don't know, a perspective on worlds I'm not a part of. So yeah, so random. Just people being silly. So polar vortex in northern Alberta. Oh, I know. I feel like it's been so cold and wintry here, and then other people are having it so much worse and so cold. Oh, yeah. So, but yeah, Foresty Forest being funny. He is. He's way funnier than he is able to display in his videos, I think. So, oh, now we got some gossip happening. I'm not who dated who in the YouTube world. Thank you, Dom. Thank you. Commenting about how authentic I am as a van lifer. Well, when I started van lifing 8 years ago, there was not a single van life page on Instagram. I tried to look up van life pages and there was none. There was nobody. There was no like pages that just share your share your photos and stuff. And the hashtag, like hashtag van life had like less than 1,000 posts in it. So like things have really changed. So I think because I got into it before it was like a thing or like a trend or like I had no idea of it, no concept of it. I didn't see other people living this way through online and then want to live it. I just knew people in real life that did and experienced being a part of that, living in town and being out on foot climbing with them, hanging out in parking lots. So I had like a very true idea of what it was like and not a curated image from the internet. So maybe that's why I'm a little more like authentic about it or something. So I also like, right now I can see there's over 200 people watching and it doesn't register as real. It's like you might as well just be Flossie I'm talking to. And then it's like, yeah, this will be saved on the internet and people will watch it in weeks or years to come. And it's just out of my mind. So I don't know, if people don't like me, they don't have to watch. So Canadian van lifer Rex, Flossie rocks, ROXX. But yeah, Steven, I think you already follow them. So no, I don't watch a lot of van life. I wish I had names on the top of my mind because I would love to support other Canadian van life creators. But so I think also too with me, a lot of people who do van life channels curate towards educating beginners or trying to help people who are getting into it, which is great. but I'm already in it, so then their content doesn't really appeal to me. I'm not too interested in top 5 gadgets for van living, right? Um, yeah. Sometimes I watch the, like, Why I Quit Van Life, and I'm just like, there's I find them pretty funny because it's like, yeah, you quit because you bought the fantasy that was sold online. I'm sorry that that happened to you, but, um, I'm gonna get myself in trouble. Amanda, am I single? No, I'm not single. I have 2 partners, Frank and Troy. So, yes. Yeah. Oh. Oh, yeah, so Chrome is Canadian, I forget that because his channel's so big, but yeah, he's a Canadian van lifer, and I would like to meet up with him, at his workshop. I would love to be able to go there and maybe do a project or something because my van is an endless series of projects. What video editing program do I use? I use iMovie, 2015 version. It's free. Yeah. Oh, program for PC cannot help you. When you say off-grid backcountry road exploring, are you concerned about having a 4x4? Forest Service roads mainly. Yeah, I'm doing FSRs. I'm not taking my van on like quad tracks or like 4x4 routes. Like the video where Foresty and I went up to the Flint mine, like that was an ATV track. I can't believe he got his van up there. It took both of us working together. Um, but yeah, I'm not ever going to attempt anything like that in my van. Even if I have a 4x4, I will still not take my van. And I would not have been able to get my van, even with 4x4 and winches, up to the mine that I went with Foresty because my van is longer. And there were times the hairpins were so narrow, he had to do multi-point turns. And my van is longer, and I just don't. It's not worth the stress to drive slower than I could walk. Um, but otherwise, like I'm a pretty good gauge of where I can go and what I can do. And when I was 16, my parents taught me to drive on dirt roads because that seemed safer than paved roads. So I have a lots of experience. Troy Troy Mandank. Frank actually got a trail name on the PCT and it was Dank, like dog Frank Dank. So yeah. It didn't get used very often, but somebody did call him Dank. What do you still want to modify on your van? Well, someday my transmission will go and I will switch to a 4x4 transmission. When I can afford it, I'm gonna put a locking differential in the rear because there's a lot of times where I get stuck that if both tires would just move at the same time, I would not be stuck. So locking rear differential, then 4x4. I want to build. I have a wooden bumper on the back. It's a 2x6. So someday we need to build a bumper. Um, just like yeah, not a lot. I don't really want to mod the engine too much. So yeah. Force scares me. Yeah. Like dog walk in -30. Good luck, Noreen. I like he even with his jacket, he wouldn't like it. So yeah. What's my favorite meal? It is to cut potatoes in little squares, fry them until they're so mushy that they start to spread in the pan and then get crispy with some onion and mushroom. That is morel, especially morel, and like kind of caramelize the onion. It's so good. It's so simple. A little cumin, maybe a juniper berry, some salt, lots of oil. That is my favorite. So yeah. Do I ever want to try a drone to add to your scenic vids? I'm a little scared of flying a drone, but I would do minimal drone stuff. I would like to add them, but I don't think I would put it too heavy in. Thank you, Renee. Oh, that's so cute. Well, it's a fox, like my fox. Yeah. Will you likely do more build inside your van? I will not do any more building in here unless there's a tragedy. I built this with my grandpa 5 years ago, and I have no need to tear it out. But if, say, there was mold or something that I discovered, which I cannot tell any sign of anywhere I can peep into, otherwise, yeah, I won't be doing any building. I need to do the ceiling of the cockpit, which is behind you. I need to insulate and put cedar up so it's not condensing and losing heat. And somehow I need to insulate these doors, which I have not done yet after 5 years, because there's like mechanisms that move, and so I don't want to just spray in can foam and then I don't know. I'm scared to make a bad situation with spray foam and have to scrape it out, which really isn't fun. So, but yeah, not a lot of other building, I don't think. I have considered right here is my crash pads. When I do a longer trip with somebody in my van, I have considered building a temporary structure there for them to have stuff. Because my van is full of my stuff, and it turns out when somebody else brings stuff into my van, it feels really full, and I'm not the coolest about it. So I'm a little bit more of a control freak than some people might realize. Um, I just have anxiety, so I don't really like. I don't know how to explain, but no, I will not be going south. I'm staying in Canada. Spray foam is permanent, so it's a big decision. I know it feels like a bigger decision than tattoos, honestly. Hey Ryan, yeah, that I saw that. My friend Ryan is on here, and he got a tattoo by the same lady that did this, so that's really cool. And he's down in Montana. I believe Montana. Hopefully, I got that right. But yeah, so it's really cool to yeah, have the same tattoo lady. So what kind of trade does Troy do? Okay, I will share this. It's gonna come out eventually, but he's a body guy. He does body work. He's like 30 years experience doing body work. So, actually, the van that crashed into mine, he's gonna be. If I can get my butt in gear and deal with that, then he'll be fixing fixing my van. So, which will be nice because he'll do a very very good job. Um, it's okay, Laura. I don't mind. It would come out anyways when my van is in the body shop for several days. I have no desire to have kids. And it's not really something I've really talked about much online. Because I feel like I don't know why I don't talk about online. I guess I just feel like it's because I don't want kids. Some people just find that offensive. But yeah, it's not something I've ever had any desire for. I have dealt with depression a lot of my life, and a lot of sadness for the state of the world and seeing the forest torn down and all the destruction and the ways we're mean to each other and homeless people and starving people and all of that just breaks my heart. And I don't want to bring someone into this world and be like, here, it's a mess. Welcome. That doesn't feel right to me. And it's expensive. Like just living is expensive. Um, and I would have to work so much to have the income to pay to have a child that I wouldn't have time with them, and I wouldn't want to have a child if I wasn't with them all the time like I am Frank. So it just doesn't add up. It just yeah, and now I'm 36, and I decided years ago that if there was any chance it would happen by 35, and after that, a hard no. So yeah, I like my relationship with Frank. I like my relationship with myself. I'm selfish. I want to spend my time with me. I want to spend my money on me or my time not working to make money. So Frank is my child. Absolutely. He is my child slash boyfriend. Really weird. um, Man, how do I find inner peace being out in nature? Sometimes I don't. But I like to just sit and observe. I don't really get bored. So I just breathe and just observe. I especially love observing the passage of time, so the way shadows move across the land over many hours, um, or that kind of stuff. I love watching rivers, so I don't know if that totally counts as inner peace, but yeah, just breathe and be aware of the sensations in my body and where I'm holding tightness and try to let go of that. So Oh, yes, there is a slow option for the live chat feed where I can choose how many seconds between comments so people can't, like, spam. But it's been pretty good today. I remember last time some people would comment, like, 20 times in a row, and I was like, "Okay, well, hi." Yeah. So wow, I thought I was 26. Excuse me. No, I'm 30. I'm gonna be 37 soon, which I'm very excited about. I like the number 37, so yes, fur baby is great. Um, and I think if I had a kid, I would be a really rad parent, but it's not in the cards. So, I have had times had young friends kind of like mentor and like hang out and do stuff with, but yeah, I don't have any young friends anymore. So they've grown up or moved away. So, and I considered doing Big Brothers Big Sisters years ago, but I'm just like not like my life isn't stable enough or consistent enough for that to be a responsible thing. Or probably for me to be accepted. So, yeah. Yeah. No, blind rabbit, I am not afraid of getting my hands dirty. Not at all. Dirt is clean. It's clean dirt. Yeah. I don't really like doing oil changes though. I find it's just too much. It's kind of gross, but it's also because of environmental fees and stuff here in BC. It's really, really hard to dispose of the oil if you do your own oil change. So you don't really save any money or time doing it yourself, and then you have the hassle of disposing. Yes, and fostering is an option. If I lived in a house, then maybe I would do that. But nobody is gonna foster me a child. I don't even think people would foster me a dog living in a van. Um, yeah, I would love being an aunt, but I don't think my brother and his wife will be having kids either. Um, so yeah, and that's the thing, like, sometimes Frank is, like, so much, especially when he was younger, and it's like, if I'm tired of him, I can just, like, put him in the van and close the door and, like, go hang outside for a couple hours and, like, not deal with it, and, like, you can't do that with a human, like, at all. Like, they remember that, and it, like, causes problems that then causes problems with everyone in their life, so, yeah. Oh. Yeah, so Okay. I think it's really nice that we do live in a time where it's easier for people to have more different choices and there's more harmony about like amongst us about our different choices. So, um yeah, it's a lot easier for me now to make this choice than it would have been say 50 years ago. So I'm really glad the way things are going. Um and who knows, maybe someday I won't live in a van and I want to like raise a human, but maybe I'll find one in the forest. Who knows? It's like the Jungle Book. Sun asks, balancing inner masculine and femininity while being an outdoor gal. Um, when I am outdoors, especially by myself, out in nature, like gender, it's a good thing the connection is not worse because every time it goes down, I drink beer. Um, but yeah, talking about the inner masculinity and femininity, my astrology chart is exactly 50-50 masculine and feminine planetary placements. So I don't feel like I really need to try. But as a kid, I was labeled a tomboy. I wore boys' clothes. I hung out with guys. I did dude things. And then the hormones hit, and Spice Girls and Britney Spears hit, and complete opposite end of the spectrum. So I just yeah, I think skills are cool, and I don't think skills belong to genders. So yep. The buffering drinking game. Yes. Maybe next time I do a live feed, I will chug every time the thing is down. So, get really silly here. Would your brother be featured in a future video? No. My brother has moved to Pennsylvania with his wife. So, he's also very awkward and he's not on the internet at all. Um, he doesn't even answer his text messages. So, yeah, there's no way he would be in a video. Um, yeah. Like, look at the chat. Video, yeah, I'll have to really dig deep to find video of Frank as a younger guy. Yeah. And yeah, so yeah, like Ryan here is saying about agreeing about just supporting ourselves. Like it is the cost of living is so high, and just like the way that food has gone up in the last like year or two, like it's like almost twice as much to eat the same diet I was eating 2 years ago. Like, yeah, I would be so stressed out to be a parent right now. So anybody who's raising humans right now, like, good on you. Yeah. Have I found many people interested to be in your videos or opposite? Mm, I like really quiet in my videos, so I prefer filming when people aren't around. So there's usually not an option to have people in or out, but I have had very much fun filming with Flossie. Troy trusts my usage of the camera to like keep him pretty down low. But if somebody were like, "Hey, let's do a collaboration," and I had good vibes about them, then I probably would. So, um, do my parents watch my videos? Yes, they do. I think they watch all my videos. It might take my mom a few watches to get through this because I've already been talking somehow for an hour and a half. Am I a better public speaker from doing YouTube? I haven't done any public speaking since doing YouTube, but in the past I had done some public speaking about just like the intersection of healing in the outdoors and having like depression, anxiety, mental health issues. I had done some talks in the past about how time outdoors and living a unique path for myself has benefited my mental health. And I've also talked a little bit about how like employers could create healthier environments in the workplace for everyone's mental health. So that was really interesting to be asked to do that and give my input on that. So I'm trying to have a little bit of light on Frank, but he's being shy and he's hiding his face over there. So humans are overrated. Yes and no, you know. So I like being away from humans, but when I'm with cool humans, I'm really, really glad to be around humans. So yeah, pet food prices have also gone up. Not as much as human food prices. So thankfully. I don't watch Netflix and I don't listen to podcasts. For a while, I was listening to Backpacker Radio, but I'm kind of out of the through hiking world now, so I don't really listen too much. I have been listening to audiobooks. I really like audiobooks, especially when I'm sick or in the winter when it's cold. Before I had heat, I wouldn't want to have my hands out of the blanket, so I would listen to audiobooks. So I was on the island recently for a week, and Troy and I listened to more than half of the first part of the Lord of the Rings audiobook. I think we're like 12 hours in right now. So yeah. Um the van is running good. It's not driving because of the snow, but it's fine. Um have I ever met Steve Wallace? No, but that would be cool. I like stealth camping and I've camped in a lot of weird places, so I think that would be a really fun thing to do. And I've mentioned that before. But I'm also not intending to drive to Alberta, so I have not reached out. Favorite song or artist at the moment? One of my favorite artists at the moment is Lord Huron. Really into him. And there's like a van dwelling artist called Ira Wolf. She hasn't put out any new music in a few years, but I still just listen to her albums all the time. Really, really like her stuff. And it's very van feel. So if you live in a van or want to live in a van, you might especially like it. Um, Hike or trail recommendation in the Lower Mainland, Sea to Sky area. I don't know much in the Lower Mainland. I did Mount Sham years ago. It was really nice. The Sea to Sky area, um, oh, so many hikes. There are so many hikes, but I feel like a lot of the nicest views you can kind of like see without actually leaving town. um, but I don't really recommend the chief hike because you're just like going up really, really steep in the forest. You don't see anything. It's like really a lot of work. And then you get to the top and like it's a nice view, but um I would say like Elfin Lakes is really, really nice, and that's something I haven't done since I got Frank. Same as Panorama Ridge, which is would be a multi-day hike or a very, 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 very long day, which I've done. But you can't take dogs in either of those parks, so I do like those because I miss them, I guess. Favorite book genre? So I read reference books, like ID books, like Mushroom ID, Plant ID, like that kind of stuff. And then I read like text, like like natural history, like that kind of more like educational stuff. And then I read more like spiritual text books. I don't really read much of somebody's like creative writing or like memoir type books, but this is my favorite book. And I've read it many, many times. And I just pick it up and I put it down and I just open and I'll just read a verse. And sometimes I'll read a few verses or like kind of like a chapter. And it's the Dhammapada. So it's just all things that the Buddha Gautama had said in his time. And it's kind of organized into sections. So yeah, the Dhammapada, the Buddhist Path of Wisdom, that would be my favorite book. And that's most of my reading that I do is some sort of spiritual scripture type thing. So, but I love fantasy stuff, like movies, like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. So that's why I've gotten into listening to the Lord of the Rings on audiobook. And I was also listening to a lot of the great courses. So I've been listening to some courses on like human prehistory and stuff recently. So yeah. Okay. This is a question I don't really want to talk about this topic at all, but how am I handling the pandemic? Absolutely fine. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, and it doesn't really exist in my world because I don't really spend much money. So, I also don't really hang out with many people. So, yeah, not a lot has changed. But it does hurt to see people having such a hard time. Listen to Dave Grohl's book. I will try to remember that next time I have tokens. So, have I had any bad knock situations? I've had 2 knock situations. The first was here in Squamish many years ago, maybe like 6 years ago. Like I was earlier in my van life, and at the time I had my class 4 license, which is for carrying passengers. I can carry up to like 25 passengers, or something with no air brakes. And so for that, you have to have medicals every 5 years. But I didn't know that it's on every 5th year birthday and not every 5 years since your license. So I guess I got the license when I was 29. Okay, so it's a while ago now. I got the license when I was 20. I wasn't using my parents' address. And I didn't have a fixed address. And I didn't have an address I was using. And ICBC made me lie to them and tell them an address. I was like, I won't get the mail. They're like, we don't care. You have to give an address. And so they made me give them an address I didn't have. So they sent out the stuff for me to have to do my medical. And of course, I didn't get it. So my license expired and it was revoked and my insurance was void. And this had, I guess, happened 2 weeks before. And I was parked outside the library here. And the town had just grown to a point where they like increased the police force presence, but they didn't have things to do. So they were just driving around scanning plates. And so they drive by, they scan my plate, and they're like, oh, she doesn't have a license or insurance. So they like put on the sirens, and it's like, I'm already on the side of the road. Like I was pulled over. So I was like, I'm already pulled over. I can't pull over any further, man. They come knocking and we figure out the situation and they like let me stay there for the night until I could sort it out. So that was the first knock and it like, wasn't a big deal, but I was just like, whoa, like I was just sitting in the front seat, like on my phone. Although at the time that would have been an iPhone 4. Uh, so yeah, so that was fine. And then the second time was a couple years ago, my last trip to the US. I was in Idaho, just across from the Washington border. And there was like this kind of like nicer neighborhood, and there was like a pullout where none of the houses could see the pullout. It was like kind of trees. And I pulled over and parked there, and it's funny because I remember I was sitting in the front seat. I'd literally just pulled over and stopped and turned off the van, and somebody came up behind me, and then like a little while later they drove off. And then like 5 minutes later, the cop like knocks on my door. It's like I'd literally just stopped there and somebody phoned the cops on me. The cops come. He's like, "Well, I have to check because people are weirded out." Um, it's like, and my van was white at the time, this big white rusty van from Canada on the side of the road in Idaho. But it turned out it was fine. I was allowed to stay there. The cop was really, really nice. We got along great. Probably would have been friends if we like lived in the same place. He was really cool, and he was like, "Yeah, there's no. I'll let everyone else know like you're fine to stay here. No one will bother you tonight." So I just stayed there the night. But it's just like they didn't know van lifers. It wasn't something they were used to there. They were just like kind of weirded out. So yeah, sometimes there's issues. Most of the time people get knocks are because they're places they're not supposed to be, and their people are sick of van lifers around, and it's gotten ruined and shut down, and so people get knocks because they're not listening to the rules. But this was a knock because nobody understood what was going on. So okay. I have missed many comments telling my knocking stories. um, yes, they are Tibetan prayer flags back there. So, have I gotten my check from YouTube? No, but 5 weeks ago, my application arrived in Texas for my ITIN. So after 7 weeks, I can phone them to check on the status of the application. So we're getting close. We're getting close. So yeah, I actually realized I could get paid out and they would just withhold 30% and then I'd have to deal with it. But like I don't want to deal with it. Um so yeah, I grew up my mom always had the Tibetan prayer flags in the house, so I just grew up with it, and it's just yeah, it's just a part of my life. So not really much of a story with it. I just have them for the reasons you have them. I ski a little bit. Blue's asking, do I ski? I have most of my experience is cross country skiing on my dad's skis in my dad's boots, like a clown. But I have a used touring setup I bought last year for $500 for skis, bindings, skins, boots. And so I've done a little bit. Yes. Dom says he's been training all his life for social distancing. Absolutely. I had a traumatic brain injury as a teenager, and I wouldn't go out in the hallways during class change and lunches and stuff. So, um, yeah, I've already been avoiding people for a very long time. Um, yeah, and masks are completely required here indoors, anywheres. Like, there's no it's just I don't know if it's Canadian or provincial, but it's totally mandated. And I hate the smell of people's perfumes and colognes and makeups. So it has saved me many allergic reactions. So even though I don't like them, I don't really complain about them. Um, oh, okay. I'm trying to read some comments here. I'm gonna hang out for 15 more minutes, and then I think 2 hours is a lot of live stream. Um, Flossie says, "Too many people stay in their vans parked in one spot for far too long." It's true. It's really true. Or they leave stuff outside their vans, or they're rude or intimidating to locals. Like there's van lifers I know that like they just stay in one spot for a long time and let their dog bark at everyone that comes around. And it's like, oh, you're gonna really, um, yeah, like alienate people. So, um, have I ever seen a cougar? Once, out of the corner of my eye, I saw a glimpse of a cougar that had been stalking us for hours, and then it left, and we left, and I was glad for that. But I'm sure many have seen me. Um, oh, this is an interesting question that has to do with years of van life. Since there are so many more van lifers these days, do you feel at all pushed out of any areas you enjoyed because people? Absolutely. I mean, a lot of the places that are popular, I'll just go when they're not as busy, but there's a lot of places I'm not allowed to go because they got popular and people ruined it. So yeah, it sucks, but I don't know. But I've always been the type to like avoid crowds and go to places when they're less busy. So um, it's just like a little bit more to avoid. But it is always surprising when I go somewhere I used to go and I'm like, wow, I stayed here for days before, never see anyone go, and it's like full, and I like leave. It's like there's nowhere to park. I'm like, but also when I started van life, there was no like iOverlander or anything like that. Like you just had to find your own spots, or like a lot of the times I would just be like in a town and some local would come over and talk to me and like, oh, just go down this road and here, and then you can park there and no one will bother you. And now there's like all these, like you can just sit and you don't have to know anything. You don't have to look around. You don't have to like have any sense. You just follow the app and park. And so, it just takes one person to put a spot on the app that was somebody's sweet secret spot, and then all of a sudden it's busy. So you just move along and find some new spots. Um, Biggest thing I've learned about myself from the van life lifestyle. I guess that I've really come to realize that I do a lot better in a lower stimulation environment. Like city lights and sounds and signs and tons of people and tons of noise. Like I knew it bothered me before, but like I just being away from it for long periods of time, which like I could get if I lived in a quiet house in the country. Just like seeing how much healthier I've become, has like allowed me to like learn about myself and like the ways that how I was living before like just wasn't optimal for me. Um, so yeah, subscribe to Flossy Rocks. Let's get them to a thousand subs today. That would be so much fun. I'm really looking forward to collaborating. Talking about Don't talk about Sasquatch. Okay, truck guy. I don't know if I can monetize a video talking about Sasquatch, which is why I'm not talking about it today. But you just said don't talk about Sasquatch, but I had a knock on the door, the back door a few weeks ago, and there was nobody around. That's all I'll say about that. Yeah. Watching me drive in the city gave anxiety. Yeah. Talk about the Sasquatch. I will. So maybe someday I'll do a video where I tell Sasquatch story and like my experience with UFOs. I have not been abducted that I know of, but I have seen many. So there's that. I feel like they watch me. Any desire to go to temperate rainforest to see a spirit bear? So this is technically coastal temperate rainforest, and so is the island. But the spirit bears they're a black bear that through a genetic whatever in that certain area, they're white, for those of you who don't know. So they're like a white or like lamb in northern BC and trying to get to the northwest coast, but a lot of it there's really not access to. Oh, somebody wants to know who is looking after my friend Fernando's dog while he's in Mexico. Cholo went back to Mexico with Frank. That's where or with Fernando, not with Frank. They went back to Mexico together. And Cholo had come from Mexico. So, yeah. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, what's a UAP? Unidentified. I don't really know. I don't know that one. I've called them unidentified large creatures, but I don't think that's a common thing. All right, Frank, come get one more treat. Come on. Okay. It's getting late. It's getting late everywhere, Frank. Come on, bud. Come on, buddy. Come on, bud. Here we go. We got Frank. coming in for some treats. I think someday I'm gonna have to oh, unidentified aerial phenomenon. Nice. I think someday I'm gonna have to get a makeup pencil and draw on like another eyebrow and see how that looks. I think that would be really cute. So yes. So thank you for coming to hang out live stream. I feel like this is going to be a very random video for anyone who watches the replay. Hopefully I didn't say anything too embarrassing. I don't know. And someday I will do another live and hopefully it will go a little better than this one, which I feel like went a little better than last one. And yeah, this is my 8 years of van life celebration because there's tons of snow and I don't want to be out on the roads trying to drive and park. And I have a new video. It will be out this weekend. I'm going to stay up late tonight finishing it, and it's a epic story of Troy and I went out and it snowed like 2 feet and I was down on a back road. And so this huge extraction story. So it's gonna be really fun. This is a mind-blowing video. So yeah, that'll be really fun. And then I have some in videos after that, time on the island, beaches and snow and beautiful trees. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting the regular videos out again. But I wanted to take this week slow and just kind of like ease back into like town and internet work and stuff like that. So I thought a live stream to hang out for 8 year van life. And I will also do another video, I think, on 8 years of van life that's like a little bit more organized and a little bit more like reflective and maybe helpful. Oh, come closer, Frank. So yeah, that's it. Thank you. I have a Patreon. I really enjoy posting there. We have a good time. I share stuff before it happens in videos because there's a 2-week lag. So if you feel like supporting with a monthly donation, you can join on Patreon. You get extra content. And I spend most of that money on treats for Frank and takeout and beer and new gear for making videos to improve my stuff. So yes, that is it for today. Thank you so much. If I didn't respond to your comment or answer your question, I'm sorry. It's really hard for me to keep up with both. I've done the best I can, and I look forward to like reading through again after. Oh, flashlight knocked me over. Okay. Bye. I feel so awkward saying bye. I don't want to just like drop you and press the end button, but that's the only way to do it. So yeah, I'm sorry. It feels rude, but bye.